Hello boys and squirrels, happy Wednesday and welcome back to my channel. So if you're new here, I have a series on my channel where I talk about the history of different brands. So far I've done Ralph Lauren and Christian Dior. I will leave those videos linked at the end of this video if you want to check those out, as well as in the description box below. So in these videos I like to focus on the different style changes, the different label changes throughout the decades of a brand, and I like to focus on the vintage side of the brand as opposed to the modern side of the brand. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video today. So today's brand is Tommy Hilfiger, and it's kind of going to be a short video because Tommy Hilfiger is a younger brand. It wasn't started until 1985, so there's a very short window of vintage clothing to talk about. But without further ado, let's get started. So just a brief history of Tommy Hilfiger himself. He was born in New York to working class Irish American parents in 1951, and he was the second of 9 children. From what I've read, he was quite a small child. And funny story, he actually had to hide 15-pound weights in his pockets just to get on his school's football team. He also wasn't that great of a student and suffered from undiagnosed dyslexia. However, when Hilfiger was a teenager, he started buying jeans, remaking them, and selling them at marked up prices. So basically, he was a reseller on Etsy before that was cool. When he was 18 years old, he opened a store called The People's Place. Now, this store was kind of a hippie store. They sold bell-bottoms and records and incense. He was actually very successful in the beginning with the opening of these stores. He even went on to make a 6-figure income, but by 1977, he had filed for bankruptcy. Hilfiger and his girlfriend, Susie Carona, married and moved to Manhattan shortly after the bankruptcy. They were later hired as a husband and wife design team at the brand Jordache, which is a very popular 90s brand, but they were fired just 1 year later. In 1984, Hilfiger was given an opportunity by entrepreneur Mohan Mirjani to be the design head of a men's sportswear line, and he allowed Hilfiger to design the label under his own name. This is where it starts to get a little sticky. So Hilfiger and Mirjani decided to announce Hilfiger's arrival onto the scene with a huge marketing campaign that included a large billboard in New York City's Times Square. The billboard announced Tommy Hilfiger as the next big thing in American fashion. After the billboard was put up, Tommy told a reporter, "I think I'm the next great American designer. The next Ralph Lauren or Calvin Klein." This didn't sit well with the fashion industry, and especially Calvin Klein himself. And Calvin Klein even ended up getting into a shouting match with the billboard's creator in a New York restaurant. But despite their fallouts with Calvin Klein, their tactics worked because Tommy Hilfiger's line took off. The brand became very popular among rap artists and celebrities in the early 90s, and in 1994, Snoop Dogg wore the classic loud logo tee on Saturday Night Live, which sent sales figures through the roof. So Tommy Hilfiger was at an all-time high in the early to mid-90s. But by the year 2000, Tommy had split from his wife of 20 years. His clothes fell off in popularity and sales plummeted by 75%. Worse than that, though, his brand wasn't considered cool anymore. Hilfiger himself even said, "It got to the point where the urban kids didn't want to wear it and the preppy kids didn't want to wear it either." So Hilfiger decided to rework the brand, and in the mid-2000s, this is when the label was changed. So the original label was the large, loud logo label, and then the new label is the more skinny, more just simple type label that we see now. So there's only 2 labels that you have to look out for in the world of Tommy Hilfiger. In 2007, he signed a deal with Macy's to sell the brand's most popular lines there exclusively. And in May 2010, he ended up selling the brand to Philip Van Heusen for $3 billion. And that's it. That is, from start to finish, the history of Tommy Hilfiger. Now let's talk about these labels. Since there's only 2 labels, editing Christina here, I just wanted to clarify, there are other styles of Tommy Hilfiger labels. There's different like colors. There's the white skinny label, but there are only 2 types of labels. The bigger label and the smaller label. That's what I'm trying to say, and I don't think I explained it very well the first time around. So there's a big label, which is the vintage label, and then the skinnier labels are the more modern day labels. It's pretty easy to tell if a Tommy Hilfiger piece is vintage or not. Like I said, the label change didn't occur until the mid-2000s, so it is possible to have that large logo label in an item that is not vintage. Now, just keep in mind that vintage is considered anything from the year 2000 or earlier. So one tip I want to give you guys is in most Tommy Hilfiger pieces, there is a date tag. Now this is under the care tag. You can find these in a lot of modern day pieces. Ann Taylor does it, Banana Republic, J. Crew. Brands like that do it all the time. Typically mall brands do this. They will put the month and the year on a little tag right under the care tag. So keep an eye out for that tag. I've seen them go as early as the year 2001. I'm not really sure if vintage pieces have that date label on it, but that is a good way to see if it's not vintage. So that's just a little tip for you. If any of you guys have further knowledge about Tommy Hilfiger or how to date Tommy Hilfiger pieces, please let me know down in the comments below. I always love learning from you guys as well. So I hope you guys learned a little something from this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure and give it a thumbs up on your way out. Also, let me know down in the comments below what brand you would like me to cover next, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and join our family. We would love to have you. I put new videos out every Wednesday and Friday, and I will see you guys on Friday. Bye guys.